Om Padme Hum. Om Padme. Good morning and welcome to the Sunday service. This morning we are going to meditate few minutes. After meditation, Ravan Kusala is going to give a Dhamma talk. No? The light is on. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday service. This morning we're going to meditate few minutes. After that, Ravan Kusala is going to give a Dhamma talk. Right now, Kashanti is going to lead the Metta meditation.
Relax in a position that's comfortable, sitting or in a lotus position. Take a deep breath. Clear your mind. May I be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May no problems come to me. May I always find fulfillment. May I also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May all beings arisen in these realms be well and happy, peaceful and free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always find fulfillment. May they also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Reverend Kausalji, leading the loving kindness meditation. Right now, time for the Dhamma talk. Reverend Kusala is going to give a Dhamma talk. Before that, I want to mention few things. Next Sunday, Los Angeles Sanat Vihari, the Mexican American monks, he's going to give a Dhamma talk. He's coming to the center, and he talked with me last week. He said he really want to come and give a Dhamma talk. He's coming next Sunday to hear give a Dhamma talk. So Kusala, right now you can start your Dhamma talk.
So, good morning now. Good to see you. So last week, Reverend Kashanti said to me, Kusala, why do you think stuff happens? Can you give me an answer? And I said, yes, I can. So if you follow me on Facebook and look at what I posted yesterday, you'll see an abbreviation of this talk I'm about to give. Why stuff happens. In Buddhism, we do not have one cause. There is never one. You might, in a different religion, you might say, well, the Supreme Being is the reason for everything happening. Or you might say, well, fate makes everything happen. Or you might say, well, predestination makes everything happen. But not in Buddhism. It's never that easy. It's always many things connected that cause things to happen. So we have something in Buddhism called the 5 niyamas, the 5 reasons we give for stuff happening. And the first reason is we live on a planet. We have an atmosphere. We have earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes. We have rain, sleet, and snow. We have droughts. We have a lot of stuff happening because we live on a planet with an atmosphere. Just a couple days ago, Ventura, 4.0 earthquake. It's not because there's bad karma in Ventura. It's because the earth decided to shift just a little bit to make itself more comfortable. So the cause number 1, we live on a planet. Cause number 2, we are biological beings. We have genes and chromosomes. Those things affect what happens to us. So some people are predestined to have this happen to them or that happen to them. I was predestined because of my parents and my lineage, all those ancestors. I was predestined to have a receding hairline. And it worked. I have to blame my genes and chromosomes. But now I keep my hair short and it works out fine. So things happen because we have a biology, we have genes and chromosomes, we have a medical staff that can help us, we have hospitals to go to, we have all sorts of things. But one of the reasons stuff happens is because we are biological beings. Number 3, the third reason stuff happens, karma. Karma is the moral aspect of the 5 niyamas. So what we have is we have this energy, and this energy is neutral. And the great scientists of the world said, you can't create energy, you can't destroy energy, you can only transform energy. So we are karmic transformers. We transform energy through what we say, through what we think, through what we do. And this creates a cause. Karma is the cause. The consequence is called vipaka. Now, what's interesting about this energy is it follows us like a little dog lost. It just follows us all around, this karmic energy that we keep transforming and giving it good or bad or skillful or unskillful identification. And then when it's time for us to leave this beautiful planet of ours, our karmic energy follows us and takes us into the next rebirth. How cool is that? Now, I did some research just a few days ago because I was curious. I said, do the Christians have energy too? What kind of energy do they have? And they do. They have soul energy. There's 8 kinds of soul energy as compared to 3 kinds of karmic energy for a Buddhist. So energy is a big deal in a lot of religions. It has no form. It has no beginning. It has no end. It can only be transformed. So the third reason stuff happens is because of karma. The fourth reason stuff happens is because of the Dharma. See, these 5 aspects help us give meaning to this chaotic world around us that oftentimes makes no sense at all. There's war and there's killing and there's driving 100 miles an hour and there's all sorts of stuff, and people are working and people aren't working and people don't want to go to the office anymore, so they work from home, and there's all sorts of stuff happening all the time. And we have the politicians telling us one thing, and we have the clergy telling us another thing, and we have the scientists telling us another thing. And all those things are designed to give meaning to this chaos that we live in. So Buddhism has the 5 aspects, which gives a Buddhist meaning. And the Dharma gives meaning to the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality. The other 3 so far is the relative reality. Karma, speaking, acting, thinking, genes and chromosomes, Earth with an atmosphere. That's relative. But now we come to the ultimate reality that we can visit: meditation, walking on the beach, all sorts of ways. So what does it mean? And a Buddhist would say, well, we have these models. We have these paradigms that we can use. We have the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and the 7 factors of existence. And we have this and we have that. And we have all these lists of things. And they're all designed to give you meaning. And if you practice long enough, you will see how those models and paradigms are simply the finger pointing at the moon, but not the moon itself. Those models and paradigms give us a chance to have a direct experience of the ultimate reality through the prism of Dharma. And what did the Buddha say about Dharma? He said, I'm not the most important thing. Sangha is not the most important thing. The Dharma is the most important thing. And it's the greatest gift you can give. If you want to give somebody the best gift in their life, give them the Dharma, which is what I did yesterday. Nam gets a kick out of this. I keep inviting him to go with me. Yesterday, I was at Leisure World, a retirement community. And we have a Buddhist circle that meets once a month. Pretty smart people too. You know, old people are pretty smart. They've had a life. They like to listen to life and death stories and stuff. So somebody on Facebook sent me a box of Dharma books and said, I have a giant library and I have a lot of books and I follow you on Facebook and I really like what you do. And I follow you on YouTube and I really like the videos. And I follow you on podcasts and I really like your talks. And I want to donate these books to you. And you can do anything you want with them. You can give them away. You can put them in a library. You can keep them for yourself. I took them to Leisure World and said, these books came to me as a gift, and I am regifting them to you. And what did the first person say who came to the to the table to look at the books? The first person said, how much is this? I said, it's free. It's free. All I ask you is after you're through reading it, give it to somebody else or donate it to the Leisure World Library. And let's get a Buddhist section started in the Leisure World Library. And they said, okay, we'll do it. But the Dharma is the best gift you could possibly give. So I felt good about myself yesterday. I gave the best gift I could have given, the Dharma. Page after page after page. Now, the fifth reason stuff happens, and the fifth reason we can use to make sense of the world around us is the mind. The mind has a lot to do with what happens in our life and what happens in the world. We have anger, we have war. Huh? Go figure. We have war, we have peace. Theoretically. Peace until the next war. And then it goes on. So what's the problem we have with mind? Why does mind keep interfering with our life? Why does mind keep creating our life for us? We have three poisons, it's said in Buddhism. We have greed, hatred, and delusion. And those things interfere with our reality. Okay? But on the good side, we have generosity, kindness, and wisdom. So when stuff goes wrong with your, say, in line at Vaughn's, and it's a giant line, and you have only 2 minutes and 3 items, and you have to wait, and you have to wait, and you have to wait. What arises? Hatred. Hatred in the line. And you say, how can I fix this hatred? How can I use it to change the line? Maybe I can just cut in front, fight everybody else. No, it's not going to work. How about if kindness arises and say, oh, the person, I understand, they're 85 and they're having problem finding the change. And, you know, I can practice patience in the line. I can use it as a time for practice. And I can wish them loving kindness and hope they have a wonderful day. Okay? So there's a couple different ways we can use the mind to make it our life better, or we can be victims of the mind and have our life not as good as it could be. So these 5 things never work alone. They're always in combination with each other. So in Buddhism, you can never point your finger and say, that's the reason. I remember years ago when they had the tsunami in Thailand, and the giant waves came in and killed people, and people were running for their lives, and houses were, you know, and I remember listening to somebody talk about that. It was a clergy. It was a Christian. Christian said it's God's will. That's why the tsunami went in. Nam goes, yeah. Then I heard the Buddhist monk say, it's their karma. I'm going to the same damn thing. It's never just one thing. You can't blame karma for the tsunami. We live on a planet with an atmosphere. You know? So when you try to give meaning to things that happen in the world, you can never just say, that's the reason, that's the cause. You have to go, wow, a combination of stuff happened. How radical is that? It probably took 999 individual causes for that one thing to happen. So we're pretty dumb if we say it was karma. It's not that easy. Life is so much more complicated than that. And sometimes the best answer to give meaning to the world is, I don't know. I don't know why it happened. I don't know. Just let it be. Very famous Zen quote. The man who knows everything hasn't heard all the questions yet. So, it's okay not to know. It's okay to live in the mystery of life. Why is this happening today? Why didn't it happen yesterday? Why on Vermont and Olympic do they have a carnival? Two of the busiest streets in Los Angeles. And there's a Ferris wheel blocking the whole Olympic Boulevard. And I thought to myself, why? And the answer came back to me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea or why it's happening. Thankfully, it's probably just for the weekend. And the traffic now on Olympic and Vermont and Little New Hampshire Boulevard is bumper to bumper. And horns are honking. People are mad and angry because they can't get to where they want to go in an efficient and time-sensitive way. And that's the mind. And that's the situation you find yourself in. And you can take the 5 niyamas and apply those to the carnival, and it will give you meaning. And then you can go get a cup of coffee. So if you want the written text to this and you follow me on Facebook, it's up and running. I posted it yesterday or the day before. I might have been yesterday. And you can read it and use it in your life, your everyday life. So I want to thank you for showing up today. And if anybody has any questions or answers, I'm willing to listen. Nam, how about you?
Well, thank you for the talk today. Thank you for explaining this what happened. A lot of people are wondering about what happened.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned earlier, I know a lot of Christian or all the other religions, they always say God will, everything God planned on them. I heard that something happened, this terrible accident or something happened, and they always said, oh, this all God planned that.
Or it was their karma. They also say that.
In Buddhism, a lot of people I know, oh, this is karma. Blame everything on karma.
Terrible accident. It's not because they were going 120 miles an hour. It's because they had bad karma.
It's an easy way to plan.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the easy way. It's the easy way. I know. Crazy. Reverend Shraddha, would you like to comment?
Very good talk. Thank you.
Did I give meaning to your life?
Yes.
All right. Okay. And
I have two questions.
can't we silence just a change. Okay, give meaning. We have, and it's never satisfied. It always wants to know the smallest minutia about everything. Why is this? Why is that? People go to school for 12 years so they can figure out why, you know? And then they give this wonderful talk that only 3 people understand. And you go, that's why? That's why it happened. And so Buddhism says, you got to just break it down. There's these 5 reasons, and relative and ultimate, and it's not that complicated. And this gives you a place to start and a place to end on meaning, on the meaning. And then you just go to the next thing and the next day. And then that happens, and this happens. And you have to sort of integrate that now into your day. You were just going to have a simple, happy day, and 5 things happened. And now you have to sort of push them and fit them into your day and make sense out of it. And then you go to the store, and they're all out of your favorite ice cream. And you say, why is that the case? Is it because I live on a planet with an atmosphere? Is that why there's no ice cream in there? And we just sort of break it down and go, I feel much better. Now I understand why there's no ice cream. And my day is wonderful again. It doesn't need to be big things. It doesn't need to be, why did the war start? There's probably no answer to that. But it can be, why isn't there ice cream? And then that satisfies our intellectual curiosity. And it gives that meaning. And meaning, I never thought about meaning as being that important until I came up against the Dharma. And I would read, and I'd do the Dhammapada, and I'd say, but what does it mean? And then there's commentary, and then there's more commentary, and then there's more commentary. And pretty soon you sort of get the meaning, but then you experience it in your own life, and you go, that's what it means. That's what it means. So ultimately, eventually, that direct experience will give you all the meaning you need to go through life. Da da da, da da da, da 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 da. Have a little musical interlude there, and then we're on.
I think Jeannie has a question for you, Kusala.
Okay, is that Steve?
No, yeah, Jeannie Woodstock.
Thank you, Steve Kaiser.
I'll talk later.
Okay.
Okay, Steve.
Well, my 2 questions. One was, you could answer this later or before. I get a lot of mail from Enso. It's a senior Buddhist living community up in Sonoma, and I just wondered if you know anyone who was there, because I'm thinking about it. But also, you said mind as part of the 5 niyamas, and a lot of my acquaintances and good friends are getting strokes or Alzheimer's, which really affects their mind. So I don't really know how to deal with it. In fact, Hideki got strokes, and it has affected his memory. And sometimes we see things different because he forgets what I've said or things like that. And I just don't know what to think about the mind so whose reality is real? You have one reality, I have one reality. Is mine really better than yours because I have a better memory and maybe I'm not remembering? It gets very confusing.
Yeah, sometimes having a better memory makes a worse reality. Sometimes it's nice to forget.
Yeah, that's what
I think when you're talking about the mind, though, in this case, you're talking about genes and chromosomes and the biology of the mind. That sometimes, the mind doesn't work as well as it could. So we go out and buy Prevagen, and it still doesn't help very much. But some people are just, sharp as a tack at 100 years old. So a lot of times the biology has something to do with the mind. And then the mind itself, there's mental illness out there. I've just listened to a interview with Matthew Perry, and this was after his book was published and a few months before he died. And he's been addicted all his life. So his addiction, he said, was physical, but also mental. The mind had a lot to do with his addiction. It wouldn't let him let go. So it's hard to say, Jeannie, who's got a better reality. We all have our own reality. We're all alone together in this reality. And it's amazing sometimes to me that we're able to understand each other, because I'm coming from A, you're coming from B, Joe's coming from C, and Mary's coming from D, and yet somehow communication occurs. It's a miracle.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we do have our own intellectual reality, and everybody is different. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it is. It's accepting, and just keep that meta going. But oh yeah, the
Keep the
Enso,
meta going. Yes.
yeah. The Enso community, have you heard of it?
I haven't. I
no.
haven't heard of that.
They keep sending me stuff to join.
Oh, good. Well, maybe one day.
I bet you it's expensive.
Probably. If they're going to send you stuff, it probably is expensive.
So I really appreciate how when you address a topic of the Dharma, you kind of break it down into its constituent parts. And you do this a lot when you're trying to explain something to somebody. And I really appreciate how you do that. You break it into smaller parts, you examine the parts, then you put it all back together again, and hopefully at that point you get it, whatever it is to be got. So thank you for your technique.
And Steve, did you get it?
I got some of it. I'm always getting some of it.
All right.
Well, I love the wise thing you said, that a man has all the answers. You haven't heard all the questions yet.
Exactly.
That is so true.
It is true.
So you just got to look at what things that you feel are true, try and communicate that to other people, and just live with the results.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve, I think you communicate that if they ask you.
Right, exactly. That was
than,
my next point, is that you got to be careful with what Dharma you deliver to what person. They may be dodging a lot of that Dharma, and you bringing it up is not going to help. So you have to be judicious.
Well, and of course, the Buddha was that way as well. He
Indeed.
gave many talks on the same subject to different people in different ways.
Right.
So they would understand. And not everybody is going to have a strong intellect. Not everybody's going to have a big heart. Not everybody is going to be employed or unemployed. And so the audience becomes really important when you give a Dharma talk. You want to give the right talk to the right audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I can figure out how to do that is to just keep doing it. After 1,000 talks, you start to understand.
Yeah, Buddha's way is supreme. I vow to attain it. Secretly,
yes,
I don't think I ever will.
Well, that's that impossibility that keeps us working on the Dharma.
It's the myth of Sisyphus, just rolling that big boulder up the hill, only to be knocked down again. You got to roll it back up.
Yep, that's how it works until you finally get there.
Thanks for your help.
You're welcome. Thanks, Steve. Yes, Shraddha.
Years ago, I read somewhere that Buddha was probably the first great shrink in teaching method, in that he met people at their level.
Yeah.
To teach, and I think that's the one thing I always remember. And that's in the mustard seed story.
Oh, what a great story! Gives meaning. That gave so much meaning, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was the story.
Yeah, and then people ask because of that. Well, is Buddhism a religion or a psychotherapy or a lifestyle? They're confused, and it's all of those. It's all of those and more. And of course, 2,600 years ago, we didn't have shrinks. We had farmers. So it's a little different. Yeah.
I think that was teaching.
Oh yeah, no, he always went for the mind. Yeah, because his idea was if you cultivate the mind, you'll achieve perfection. Right. And if you cultivate the body, you'll achieve a better feeling body. So it's like, I started, working out in the gym and did that for a year or two until I figured out that I had a brain connected to my body. And not only did I need to work on my body, I needed to work on my brain And then that's when I found Buddhism and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so it's interesting how we start sometimes with the body, yoga, stretching, things like that, sometimes with the mind. But they're both connected and they're both very useful in this lifetime of ours. Okay. Well, if there's no more questions, I think, my job is done. And are we still on YouTube?
Yes.
Are we on Zoom?
Yes.
Both of you, so okay. Well, thanks everybody online who tuned in, and I appreciate your paying attention to what I had to say, even though sometimes after I've said it, doesn't sound like I said anything. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ron Kusala. And we will chant for the page 4 and page 10. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. Dharma is inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. Dharma grades are limitless. I vow to study them all. Buddha's is supreme. I vow to achieve. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the stuck fearlessly. May the grieving shadows sleep, and the sick find health relief. Thank you for everybody again. I think we have food in Anand Hall. You all can go and eat there. Our good friend Mr. Nam brings some food today. So after the service, we can go and eat there our lunch. Thank you again. So next week again, Sanath Vihari is going to give a Dhamma talk. So please come and join. That's it. Right now, service is finished. By the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, by the power of all the Bodhisattvas, you will be well, happy, and peaceful. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.